Right, you guys are tireless.
So next one is July 15th.
Wow.
Artist talks. Shoot, that font's too small for me to read. Art Larson and Dan Tran.
Okay. Okay. Well, that sounds interesting.
Yeah. And then in August 10th, we're actually gonna go for a bird walk in Stevens Square Park.
Oh, is David leading that?
No, not the one from the DNR is coming. It's great, it's gonna come.
Oh, okay.
No. Well, I think even 9 o'clock. On the other hand. Sweet. But, Jared, we're gonna wait just a couple of minutes.
Sounds good. I'm in no rush. So whenever we want to get started, let me know.
Okay.
That background is just
Isn't that
stunning. Oh, that is so,
He took it down by shop.
oh, so great.
Yeah.
Did you have a telephoto lens? You must have.
Thankfully, this nest is fairly visible from one of the side streets. Away from the road, it's only about 100 yards. So it's actually a lot closer than you'd think.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, this is one of our local pair.
I have to get back down there.
Yeah.
It's been a couple of years since I've been there. It's just a great place.
It is. It's a wonderful community.
Yeah.
How close is Wabasha to Reed's Landing?
About 1.5 miles, 2 miles, depending on if you take your time or not.
Okay. I was thinking they were pretty close.
What's it?
Reed's Landing is kind of a famous place where the St. Croix and the Mississippi converge. And so in the winter, there's kind of a little ice shelf there, and the eagles like to sit out on the ice shelf and fresh water coming in, and it's apparently very good fishing.
Oh, very cool. Yes.
Yep, you're spot on. That area is great for eagle viewing in the winter and fishing all year round.
Yeah, oh, that's great. When we were in Alaska a couple different times in our motorhome, we'd be in campgrounds like the most memorable was in Homer, Alaska. And Homer, I mean, the eagles down there they are birds of scavenger is what they are. They wait for dead fish to come up on the shore, and there were just probably 50 on the beach one day. We were watching, but it's incredible.
That'd be cool. Reed's Landing, you can get a crowd of 30, 40, 50 eagles sitting out on the ice there, right?
Exactly. Anywhere from the southern tip of Lake Pepin down through Alma, Wisconsin, that 8 mile stretch of the river does hold eagles year round, and especially in the winter.
Year round, okay.
Okay. I think we should get started. So,
Yeah.
all right. You can somehow zoom the feed on the sewers.
No, just him.
Yeah.
Just him.
Okay. So, good morning. My name is John Humphrey. I'm a member of the Sunday Forum Committee, and Sunday Forums are an opportunity for conversations about faith and life. We seek to provide a thoughtful and welcoming learning environment for members and friends of Plymouth Church. The Sunday Forum Committee schedules weekly presentations during the year. A footnote on that in just a minute. And the hope is that it will enrich the spiritual lives of our members and guests. And we think looking more deeply into God's creation is one of the reasons that we're having Garrett present to us today. One way for us to enrich our spiritual lives. I don't think we need to talk about hearing devices, so I'm going to pass up on that part. Our guest this morning is Jared Lueck, and I'll let him introduce himself further. He's with the National Eagle Center. And are you technically in Wabasha?
Correct. Yep, we're located right in the downtown area of Wabasha, Minnesota.
Okay, super, Wabasha, Minnesota. And our technical assistant this morning is Felix. Welcome, Felix. Thank you kindly. As you listen to our presentation this morning, please think about how this topic relates to your spiritual formation. Thank you for joining us here in the chapel or remotely. And obviously, some of you will be joining us remotely after the fact, and that's fine, and we're happy to have you as well. When it's time for questions, I think I'll just sit with the mic and I don't even know if we need the mics, Jared. It seems like you're hearing us just fine without.
The audio is very good.
Okay, great. So we'll see if we need it, we'll use it. So with that, no further ado, let's please welcome Jared Lueck. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that very warm introduction. My name is Jared, and the way this program is going to be working is we do have a pre-recorded program that goes over all aspects of a bald eagle's life in 1 year. And then at the end of that pre-recorded presentation, we'll be going to a live camera footage and interaction with one of our ambassador eagles. So on that note, let's jump into the live or the virtual presentation, the pre-recorded version. Please keep in mind that the video might take a couple moments to sync up with the audio. That's just the trick of doing virtual programs like this. It takes a couple moments for the audio to sync up. And on that note, let's head to the virtual program.
Uh-oh.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the National Eagle Center located in Wabasha, Minnesota. My name is Jared. I'm the Avian Education Specialist lead for this facility, and I get to be your tour guide today as we go on an incredible journey about eagles. Now, the National Eagle Center is the world premier resource and impactful eagle education and experiences. We achieved that incredible goal with the assistance of our avian ambassadors. The National Eagle Center is home to 5 permanently injured raptor ambassadors, and our first one we're going to talk about is Ambassador Angel. The National Eagle Center's 25-year-old ambassador from northern Wisconsin. Angel has been in our care since the year 2000, and she has a permanently damaged left wing, resulting in her not being able to fly. Angel has been in our care since 2000, and she is our longest serving ambassador, and she is an incredible eagle. Next up is Ambassador Washaka. Washaka is an 18-year-old male bald eagle from Florida. He's not from around here, and he is in our care due to fully missing his left eye. In the wild, flying's easy, landing's the hard part, and one eye is almost impossible to overcome for a bald eagle because of the lacking depth perception. You need expert depth perception to be able to fly, and Washaka can't fly safely. Now, Angel's a bald eagle, Washaka's a bald eagle. Our next ambassador is a red-tailed hawk. Her name is Hollywood. She's a 9-year-old female red-tailed hawk from North Carolina in our care due to a permanently damaged wing from a car collision. Hollywood's left wing was permanently damaged from that car collision, and she can't fly just like Angel. Now, Hollywood's main purpose with the National Eagle Center makes her our most important ambassador. Eagles require the highest level of experience to work with safely. They are large, powerful birds, and many of our staff are not hired with that level of experience. So you work with Ambassador Hollywood first, then you move up to the Eagles. Hollywood makes it so our staff are as trained as possible, and for that purpose alone, makes her our most important ambassador. The next ambassador on our list is Ambassador Latch. Latch is an 8-year-old male bald eagle from Winona, Minnesota. He is our only Minnesota ambassador. And Latch, just like Washaka, is blind in his left eye. Different cause, same disability, no depth perception. We'll actually go over Latch's story in a little more detail, but that'll be towards a little later on in the program. And then our last ambassador is Ambassador Perseus. Perseus is a 3-year-old male bald eagle from Missouri with a permanently damaged right wing. You can actually see that injury in this photo if you look very closely over here. Being a weather person's pretty tough. Here we go. Perseus's right wing is permanently damaged. You can notice that wing is drooping away from his body. He can't fly. That is a major disadvantage in the wild. A bald eagle that can't fly can't survive out in the wild. And you may be wondering, but Perseus doesn't look like a bald eagle. He is a juvenile. Bald eagles do not get that adult color, that white head, white tail, until between 5 and 6 years of age. Perseus, being only 3, is not fully mature yet. He is still growing, or still maturing, I should say. Now, do not tell Perseus this is his baby photo. He'll get very embarrassed. Now, these are eagle ambassadors, and you'll notice that they're all bald eagles and one red-tailed hawk. There is another eagle native to North America, and that is the golden eagle, the one pictured behind me. And oh my goodness, these eagles are adorable. Minnesota is home to both bald and golden eagles. North America is home to both bald and golden eagles. Only 2 species of eagle are native to North America. Around the world, there's over 60. Now, bald eagles can be found year-round in Minnesota. Golden eagles, on the other hand, are a migratory bird to Minnesota in the winter. Pretty much November through March is your window to see golden eagles in Minnesota. The rest of the year, these wintering golden eagles are summering in northern Canada. That's right, they summer in northern Canada, winter in Minnesota. That means for golden eagles, we are the Bahamas. They choose to come here in the winter. Makes it a little bit easier to realize that birds do come to Minnesota of their choice in the winter. Now, the eagle ambassador you'll be meeting today is a bald eagle, so that's what we're going to focus on. Bald eagles are a top-level predator. They have 3 powerful tools that make them a predator of that caliber. 1 at their feet, 2 up at their head, and we're going to start at the bottom of the bird and work our way up. That means we are starting with the talons. The talons are the grasping tools of an eagle. Some species of eagle can have talons over 5 inches in length. That is as long, if not longer, than a grizzly bear claw. Now, bald eagle talons are not quite that long, but they're highly specialized. Bald eagles love fish. Have any of you ever tried to catch a fish with your bare hands before? Oh, it's tough. They're slimy, they're wiggly, they end up all over the place. Bald eagles do not have that difficulty because they are equipped with nature's best fish hooks. This is a life-size replica of a bald eagle's foot, and you can see these talons are massive. These are ideal for catching fish. They're sharply curved, about 2 to 3 inches, and ideal for nature's best fish hooks. Now, people do ask me all the time, why do we call these talons and not claws? Is there a difference? There is a functional difference. Talons do something claws can't. They grab. Well, that means your fingernails are just perfectly manicured talons. How cool is that? Next time you break a fingernail, say you broke a talon. Sounds way better, and it'll scare your friends. Now, speaking of grasping, what I'd like all of you to do is please take your hand and squeeze it as hard as you can. We humans reach about 70 pounds per square inch of pressure for average grip strength. A bald eagle, our hands, 70 pounds. A bald eagle, single talon, 1 toe, can do 400 pounds per square inch of pressure. Woof. Do not shake hands with an eagle. That's a terrible life decision. Their talons are their most powerful tool, and they need to be that strong to be able to grasp powerful prey, like salmon, like large fish. Those are powerful animals in their own right, and you need a powerful tool to be able to catch them efficiently. Now, their talons are pretty narrow in focus. They catch their dinner. That's about it. Their next tool allows them to properly eat their dinner, and that is the beak. A bald eagle beak is massive. It's giant, bright yellow, and built like a can opener. Fish are tough. Scales are nature's body armor. When your food is literally armored to the gills like a fish, you need a powerful tool to rip that food apart with. Now, a bald eagle beak is massive. This image is larger than life. If you see a bald eagle with a beak this big, run away. That's a very large individual. Let's compare, though, a bald eagle beak to the size of their skull. This is a life-size replica of a bald eagle's skull and beak, and you will notice that beak well before you notice the skull. It's giant. You have a tough food, you have to rip apart, or you need a tough tool to rip it apart. Now, the beak is used to rip apart their dinner. Their talons catch their dinner. Both those tools are useless without the eyesight. Eagle-eyed is an expression for a reason. Now, the fun part is we humans and eagles have roughly the same sized eye. Our eyes are just about the same size. We lack the quality vision, though. That's the big difference. I'm certain you've all heard the saying eagle-eyed. We know it means good eyesight. The question, how good of eyesight? To demonstrate, I'm going to take all of you to the second floor of the National Eagle Center, and we're going to look over the mighty Mississippi River. This is a view from our second floor balcony. You'll notice our public dock, you'll notice the main channel, Mississippi River, and then you'll notice the opposite shoreline, and then way off in the distance, you will notice our neighboring state, Wisconsin. That bluff line, that really distant bluff line from the National Eagle Center, is 3 miles away. Our Eagle ambassadors sitting in the National Eagle Center right now have the visual ability to see another eagle circling that bluff 3 miles away. That's what it means to be eagle-eyed. Now, I, for one, am a little jealous of that eyesight, but I'm not jealous of the cost that comes with it. Remember, we humans have eagle-sized eyes. The difference, though, is we do not have an eagle-sized skull. You can see quite clearly my head is huge, right? Compared to this eagle skull. Well, this massive skull of ours serves an important purpose. We have room around our eyes for muscles that let our eyes move left, right, up, and down. An eagle can't do that. Their eyes are literally fixed in place. If they want to look somewhere, they have to turn their entire head to do it. And that's just because of how big their eye is. I really want to get across how big their eyes are. So what I'd like to do is let's take the proportion of an eagle eye compared to its skull and upscale it to a human. That would mean our eyes would be the size of hockey pucks in our heads. That is how massive a bald eagle's eye is compared to its skull. They are giant. I will gladly keep my terrible human vision if it means I can rotate my eyes in my skull. I would not want eyes this size, even if it meant having 3-mile eagle vision. I'll keep my human eyesight. Now, those tools make a bald eagle and a golden eagle those top-level predators. They are incredibly powerful birds. Grasping talons, massive beak, and powerful eyesight make them that top-level predator. And you might all be wondering a question. Why Wabasha, Minnesota? Why is a facility that sees 75,000 guests a year located in a town of roughly 2,000 for a population? The secret is the Mississippi River itself. This is an aerial view of the Mississippi River Valley where National Eagle Center is located. In fact, we're going to mark Wabasha and the National Eagle Center on the map. We are right there, right there. That little red star is the National Eagle Center. And you'll notice the main channel of Mississippi River flowing right past us. Now, this section of the river is quite unique because it stays open in the winter. It does not freeze. The reason is upriver of the National Eagle Center. We're going to go all the way up to this wide body of the Mississippi River right here called Lake Pepin. Lake Pepin is not a true lake. It's just a wide spot on the river. But you'll notice it is dramatically wide and then it narrows down. Well, that narrowing of the river increases the current, makes it flow a lot faster, and that will make it where ice is more difficult to form. The upper part of Lake Pepin, the upper part, does freeze. So this wide spot does ice up. When you get down here, it stays open. Now, that alone is not enough to keep the river from freezing. Minnesota is brutal in the winter. There's a second factor. We have this river flowing in from Wisconsin, the Chippewa River. Do you notice that little bit of white fading on this image? That's not fading, that's sand. The Chippewa River is dumping tons of sand into the Mississippi River. You have the fast-flowing Mississippi, you have the sand-filled Chippewa River forming a confluence right here, and that creates turbulent water. That turbulent water makes it where the ice cannot form completely, and that keeps open water, that attracts the fish, and that attracts the predator, the bald eagles. Our eagle viewing is at its best in the winter. This is a video from the National Eagle Center. And if you look closely, you will notice there are bald eagles flying up and down this open body of water. These eagles are looking for fish. The river provides that. Now, let's say you're not near the National Eagle Center, but you are on the Mississippi River. Your next best place to look for bald eagles is the lock and dam system. If you find the lock and dam, you find open water, well, you guessed it, you find the bald eagles. This video was taken from Lock and Dam number 5, just south of the National Eagle Center, and you will notice there are eagles everywhere. Family of trumpeter swans hanging out for the winter, that's pretty cool. These are all bald eagles. These eagles are utilizing this open water for fishing because the fish are getting focused near the surface where the oxygenated water is, where the turbulent water is. Well, that makes pretty easy fishing. This is literally a buffet that comes to your table, which makes it really nice for the bald eagles. Now, even when the winter's not super brutal, like past few years, you can still find congregations of eagles. This photo was taken from the second floor balcony of the National Eagle Center. And you're probably leaning and going really close, like, what in the world am I looking at? Well, all these little white dots you see on here, that's not snow. That's bald eagles. In fact, let's add some red dots. And all those red dots you see in here and up here and down here and all over the place and behind me, those are bald eagles. These eagles are congregating because of the food. In fact, look down here in the water. That back bay next to the National Eagle Center is only about 1.5 feet deep. I know that because I got my boat stuck back there. Well, that shallow water focuses the fish near the surface. It creates easy fishing. Bald eagles want the easiest food source possible. Now, looking at all these eagles, you might be wondering, who's the boys, who's the girls? How do you tell them apart? In terms of color, they look exactly the same. Yellow beak, white head, brown body, white tail. There is no color difference in bald eagles. There is a difference you can see. Someone's bigger than the other. So take a moment, take a guess. Who do you think's bigger, the boys or the girls? All right, so we're just going to give it a moment. And let's see, the girls are bigger. That's right. In eagles, the girls are bigger. On average, a female eagle is 1/3 times larger than the male. It's a huge difference between female and male bald eagles, the girls and the boys. The girls are bigger. So just keep that in mind when you're out looking for bald eagles. If you see two together, the girls are bigger. Now, bald eagles have an incredible way of finding a partner. They have to test each other. Bald eagles have pretty much one chance a year at laying eggs and raising offspring. You have to have a good partner. The way they pick a partner is through dancing. Now, I'm certain when I say the word dancing, you're all thinking disco moves, late night out, tons of fun. That's always fun. For bald eagles, though, their dance is an extreme sport. The behavior is called cartwheeling. And that is where two bald eagles fly up in the air, lock talons, and then begin to free fall out of the sky together. They're testing each other. Your partner lets go too soon, they're too weak. You give them up for the year. Your partner lets go too late, you have to find a new partner anyway. That's right, they can hit the ground. That is an incredible ritual. If you have one chance, you got to pick the right partner. And this still image, this photo is incredible. Let's see what it looks like in motion. So what you're going to see is two bald eagles flying up high into the sky together. And when they get to the top of their flight, they will lock talons and free fall together. That is an incredible courtship ritual. That is the best way to pick a partner. It really is. So next time you happen to have a first date or an anniversary, go skydiving. That's the way to go. Now, this ritual, this courtship ritual, is just partner selection. The way they build a relationship with each other is through, let me get to the other side of the screen, is through nest building. Bald eagles are credited as a bird that builds the largest nest in North America, if not the world. If you've seen a bald eagle nest in nature, your eyes are not fooling you. Their nests are massive. Now, bald eagles will return to the same nest every year. That is called nest site fidelity. It's just a fancy way of saying you return to the same nest. It may not be the same partner. Bald eagles care more about the nest than who they bring to it. It's really not romantic. They come together to raise the kids, raise the eaglets. That's about all they do. Now, these nests are giant and they are built to last. In fact, other animals have been seen in them. Let's take a look at this photo. This photo was taken in northern Wisconsin. And yeah, you see the bald eagle nest down here, and then you see a big black lump in that nest. What in the world could be sitting in that nest? Well, let me tell you, it is a black bear. A black bear climbed up into this bald eagle nest and thought that would be a good place to hibernate for the winter. Oh my goodness, that nest must be massive if this Goldilocks gone wrong scenario can withstand the weight of that black bear. Bald eagles truly are expert architects. Now, when you look at a bald eagle nest, they all kind of fall into the same average proportions. If we're talking from side to side, so the widest part of the nest, we're talking an average of 6 feet across. That's my wingspan. So as far as I am touching from tip to tip of the screen, 6 feet. Not too bad. If we're talking from top to bottom, average of 3 to 5 feet. Again, I'm 6 feet tall, so 3 to 5 feet, not too bad. That's a pretty large nest. There is a world record bald eagle nest because since bald eagles return to the same nest every year, they add about a foot of material every year. That means they're just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Average nest, 6 feet across, 3 to 5 feet deep. The current world record bald eagle nest was 9 feet across. So 3 feet taller than I am, from side to side, 9 feet. And from top to bottom, it was 21 feet. That is colossal. If you're having a hard time picturing 21 feet, let me paint a picture for you. It is the size of a police car. So next time you see a police car sitting on the side of the road, imagine it sitting up in a tree. That is how massive the world record bald eagle nest was. And the thing about bald eagle nests is they are not hollow. They're solid, full of material. So an average nest of 3 to 5 feet deep weighs anywhere from 6, 7, even 800 pounds. The world record nest being 21 feet deep, 3 tons, nearly 6,000 pounds. That is colossal. That nest was discovered down in Florida after the tree fell over. Can't blame it if you put a police car up in a tree. It's going to fall over eventually. Bald eagles are expert architects. They truly are. And they have to be, because it is in their nest that they place their eggs. The female bald eagle will build a bowl around the center of the nest, and she'll line it with softer material. Grasses, other soft material, like even feathers from their own body. They have to make sure that the surrounding material doesn't break the egg. So you have the sticks on the outside and then the soft grass on the inside. And bald eagle eggs really aren't that big. In fact, this is a life-size replica of a bald eagle egg. Let's see, back up a little bit. Life size of a bald eagle egg, it's about twice the size of a chicken egg. Or if you're having a hard time picturing that, here is a common household golf ball. So golf ball versus bald eagle egg. You can see the egg's quite a bit bigger, about twice the size of a chicken egg. So not too bad. Bald eagles lay on average between 2 and 3 eggs. So 2 to 3 eggs are placed in the middle of this nest that is 6 feet across. That is way too much space for the eggs. And it is. But the eagles are not worried about the egg. They're worried about what comes out of the egg. Bald eagle eggs take 35 days to hatch. Compare that to a chicken egg of 21 days, and bald eagle eggs do take quite a while. Now I must warn you, in our story, 35 days have passed and the eggs have hatched. What I'm about to show you may be a little shocking, so please brace yourselves. Because bald eagles, when they hatch, are absolutely adorable. Look at how cute they are. They're white and fluffy, about the size of a baseball. They're living, breathing dryer lint. They are so cute. Oh my goodness, they're adorable. They don't stay this way for long. You're all smiling right now, and the smiles go away. Oh my goodness. This is a bald eagle when it's 6 weeks old. It's a foot and a half tall. It's a big bird in 6 weeks. That is incredible growth rate. You're smiling at this, the smiles went away. That is fast. Now, that growth rate of a bald eagle going from baseball to a foot and a half tall in 6 weeks is the same as a human going from newborn to 12-year-old in 6 weeks. Oh, that is fast. That much growth requires one thing: food, and lots of it. Young eagles are not picky. They eat everything. It takes both mom and dad to feed these eaglets. They are growing fast. Let me ask you if this sounds pretty good for dinner. What about some fish? Not too bad. What about some squirrel? If you deep fry it first, tastes pretty good. What about roadkill skunk? No, thank you. That just sounds awful. To a bald eagle, though, that's a perfectly edible dinner. They eat everything. Their stomachs rival battery acid. So they're able to eat even rotting food like a dead roadkill deer with no issue. They get every ounce of nutrients, and bald eagles help keep our environment clean through the eating of those, well, road-killed animals. They are nature's garbage men. So you're a foot and a half tall, 6 weeks old, pretty good. Let's double their age to 12 weeks old and make them 2.5 feet tall. Full grown. Now understand, this image kind of hard to get scale. So let's take a look at this image. This is a 12-week-old bald eagle, and it is a life-size print. These eagles are tall. Now you might be wondering, that's not a bald eagle. It has now a white head. It's got a brown head, brown beak, brown eyes, brown tail. Where's the white head, white tail? Where's the yellow beak? This does not look like a bald eagle. Full grown does not mean fully mature. You're as big as you'll ever get in 12 weeks. It takes years to get that adult coloration. In fact, you can approximately age a bald eagle based on how it looks, as long as it doesn't have that white-headed tail. Let's demonstrate that. So we've got our hatchling down in the nest. It's 12 weeks old. It's full grown. Then it leaves the nest at about 15, 16 weeks old, roughly. That's when it starts flying. It's on its own by about 20 weeks of age. So here's our first year. We've gone up to here. Solid black bird, looks nothing like the adults. Then as it molts, meaning it loses its feathers, they'll grow in again as a different coloration. You're getting more mottled. This is a 2 to 3 year old. Then you go into your third year. This is a 3-year-old, looking much different. Look, you're getting a little more white around the head. You're getting a little bit of whiter tail. That beak's starting to turn yellow. You got a 4-year-old here. Ooh, look at that tail. That is almost pure white. Same with the head. You got a 4-year-old molting into its 5th year. Oh, it's almost fully mature. And then between 5 and 6, you get, bam, fully mature adult. That is a bald eagle in a nutshell. They take years to get that adult coloration, and then you've got your mature adult. Now, a bald eagle in the wild averages a lifespan of 20 to 25, which is really good for such a big bird. Human care, lifespan averages 35 to 40, which is very respectable. That's a great size wing or a lifespan for a bald eagle. It really is just amazing what proper food and vet care does to a lifespan. Now, I'm really trying to get across how colorful these young bald eagles are. Let's see some examples. We've got a bunch of young bald eagles here. Again, not one of them looks the same. We've got a bunch down here. These are all still bald eagles. They just look incredibly varied. We got a bunch over here. And you know what? We got even more down here. Bald eagles are a photographer's dream because as juveniles, as youngsters, no white head, no white tail, they look incredibly varied. They're all unique individuals that's easy to tell apart. It's once you get your white head and tail, that telling them apart gets very difficult. We answered calls from the public in the late spring or late summer into fall where they say, okay, I saw the adult bald eagle. Then I saw this weird brown eagle next to it. Is that a golden eagle? Based on the time of year and the call that comes in where these two birds are sitting right next to each other, that is not a golden eagle. It's a juvenile bald eagle, a first year who just left the nest. And people are like, well, that can't be true. One's bigger than the other. you're not looking at two separate eagles, you're looking at dad versus daughter. The girls, remember, are bigger. And in 12 weeks, you're full grown. You're as big as mom and dad. So, yeah, male adult bald eagle, most likely dad, juvenile female, daughter. Yeah, you can see that size difference. That's pretty considerable. All right. It is now my favorite part of the program because I get to introduce our ambassador. You will be meeting Ambassador Latch. Latch is an 8-year-old male bald eagle from Winona, Minnesota, and his name is spelled Latsch. And you're probably thinking, that is a weird name for a bald eagle. Well, you'd be right, except Latch is named after this gentleman, John A. Latch of Winona. He was a gentleman who lived in the early 1900s as a millionaire by today's standards. John A. Latch had one passion in life, being on the Mississippi River. During his life, he bought over 18,000 acres of riverfront property and donated them to public use. Latch is named after John A. Latch because he was found near Latch Island down in Winona. Latch is in our care because he is blind in his left eye, an injury caused by trauma. He could have been pecked by a sibling or even flown into or walked into a stick, damaging that left eye. That is why he is in our care. If you have no depth perception, you can't make a living in the wild. Now, of course, Latch, since he came into our care at such a young age, we got his baby photos. Here's Latch at 2, here he is at 3, and here he is at 4. You can see his transformation really didn't be all that striking. Latch stayed pretty dark through most of his life. And then he turned 5 and went, bam, fully mature adult, absolutely stunning individual. Now, this photo is quite interesting because you can get an idea on what his eye injury looks like. If you take a close look, you will notice his left eye, this eye right here, is smaller and darker than his right eye. His right eye is fully matured, fully functional. His left eye, having been damaged by trauma, is smaller and darker. It never fully matured. Young bald eagle's eye color, chocolate brown. Mature adult, bright yellow. His left eye never fully matured. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, it is my incredible honor to introduce Ambassador Latch. All right, everyone, we're going to be heading back to the live feed now. This is where we can start doing the question and answer. I'm just going to give my camera a moment to fully wake up. These cameras tend to be a little on the slow side, so we're just going to give it a moment here. All right, any second now. Oh, there we are. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Now, because the room that I'm in is too small for one of our Eagle ambassadors, we're going to be going to a live camera footage of our ambassador Eagle. All right, everyone, here we go. And ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce Ambassador Latch, being worked with today by Avian Care Director Tiffany. These two have an incredible working relationship, and, well, eagles don't work for free, so Tiffany's got a beautiful chunk of rat for Latch. At this point of the program, if anybody has questions, please feel free to ask. I know the live guests are possibly having questions. We can see Tiffany's working with Latch. So on that note, does anybody have a question I can answer for you? If you have a question, just feel free to ask.
Can you hear me if I talk like this?
Yes, I can.
Okay. At what age then do eagles become breeding?
Excellent question. At what age do they enter the breeding population? Bald eagles are considered fully mature adults entering the breeding population when they get that adult white head, white tail between 5 and 6 years of age. You may see younger subadults around that 4.5 to 5-year-old age starting nests, but typically those fail. They just don't have the experience they need to be able to accurately raise a nest and be successful at it. So all of our birds being mature adults were considered mature adults when they got that adult white head, white tail, and in the wild, they would have then entered the breeding population. Excellent question. Anybody else?
I have another question.
And then I have one.
Okay. Are you still there?
Jared, did we lose you?
I think we lost him. he's talking, but
Of technology.
Okay.
There we are. Sorry about that.
It's okay, more questions.
I was unclear about what part of that foot is the actual talon. Is it the whole structure or is it just those claw-like things?
Which part is classified as the talon? So the talon itself typically is defined as the nail out. So like our fingernail, we count our finger as the entire structure, but our fingernail is the tip. For us as a facility, we define the talon as that black nail-like substance. In fact, our fingernails and their talons are made of the same material, keratin, and they do continuously grow. So for us, we classify the talon as that the tip nail, and the entire toe would then be from where it connects at the top of their foot all the way out then through the talon itself. And when we say that 400 pounds per square inch of pressure, we're talking at the point of impact when they're pushing that talon into their food source. Excellent question. Anybody else?
Jared, you mentioned that golden eagles migrate and bald eagles do not migrate. Is that correct?
What's the migration of bald eagles versus golden eagles? Bald eagles, I hate to say it, are lazy migrants. Their average migration is 100 miles. One of the leading driving forces for migration is food. If you can find food, you will not migrate. Well, bald eagles, either being fish eaters or scavengers, can find food year round. Golden eagles, one of the big differences between the two is that golden eagles are active predators. They want to kill the food themselves. Well, in northern Canada, there's no food up there in the winter. So you head south till you find a similar habitat type, which would be, for a lot of the golden eagles that migrate to Minnesota, the driftless region. The corners of Illinois, Wisconsin, Iowa, and Minnesota form very similar habitat to northern Canada. So it's all about where the food is. If you can find food, you will not migrate.
Are there bald eagles in every state?
What was that?
Are there bald eagles in every state in the United States?
Bald eagles can be found in every state of the 59 states except one. There is one state that has 0 bald eagles in it, and it is Hawaii. Hawaii has no native bald eagles, but you can find bald eagles from the northern tip of Alaska to southern Florida and everywhere in between. They are native, though, only to North America. They're unique to this continent. Excellent question. You're all asking wonderful questions, by the way, and you can see that Tiffany and Latch are just hanging out in our classroom. That's a space large enough for these eagles. Latch may not look like it, but he has a 6-foot wingspan. We have to make sure that if we bring an eagle into a space, it is large enough for him to be comfortable. Anyone else have a question?
Are eagles an endangered species?
Are bald eagles an endangered species? Thankfully, they are not. In 2007, they were taken off the endangered species list, and their population has been increasing ever since. Minnesota, it does have the highest breeding population of bald eagles in the lower 48. Now, the last time a major survey was done, there was an estimated 10,000 breeding pairs of bald eagles in the entire lower 48. I say that because in Alaska, there's an estimated 10,000 breeding pairs alone. So Alaska has the entire breeding population of the lower 48. So when we like to brag about Minnesota being number 1, we don't count Alaska because nobody's beating Alaska. They're the best of the best when it comes to eagles, or bald eagles, I should say. Yes, but thankfully they are no longer classified as endangered, and we now currently live in a world where eagles are known. There was a time in the late 1970s to the 90s where that was kind of a rare thought to have. These birds were critically endangered at one point, but thankfully they are no longer in that state, and they're back in increasingly high numbers every year.
What threatens the health or life of eagles?
What is a bald eagle's biggest natural threat? That's an excellent question. In the wild, their biggest natural threat is another bald eagle. They're their own biggest source of competition. Sadly, though, their leading cause of death is humans. Humans inadvertently kill them through car collisions, lead poisoning, and in some areas, illegal shootings are still an issue. So Their biggest natural threat is each other. Their leading cause of death, sadly, is humans. With
Okay.
I don't know.
We think we lost you again.
Hard to say.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't look.
Who are these people? Yeah. Johnny Lucas from the National Eagle Center in Wabasha.
there we go.
Why did they come to meet him? By
All right.
Zoom.
Somebody have a question? All right. Well, you can go ahead.
Yeah, so is there a mating season?
So for bald eagles, their mating season varies on where you are in the country. In the upper Mississippi Valley in Minnesota, the breeding season is typically early February through August. That's when they're most active, either at their nests rebuilding them, through chick rearing, times like that. If you go down to Florida, their nesting season starts in December. Based on where you are in the country, you may have, like in Florida, no winter, so you can start as soon as you want to. But in Minnesota, where you have a true winter, you have to wait till the resources that have food availability reoccur or reappears early spring to be able to successfully raise your offspring. It takes a lot of food to support the growth rate of young bald eagles. It takes a lot of food. Excellent question. Anybody else? So you can see Tiffany and Latch are just hanging out together. Bald eagles are very visually focused animals, especially Latch. He is highly visually curious. We've taken our ambassadors to schools, libraries, community centers. Latch especially finds people fascinating. As you can see, he's trying to get a close look at Tiffany. But remember, he's blind in his left eye. That head turning you see where he keeps turning his head up and down is trying to get depth perception. He's just trying to get a better look at the world, but because of that blind eye, he has to do some kind of funny looking behaviors. Anybody else have a question?
How many visitors do you get every year at the Eagle Center?
Was that how many field trips we get?
How many visitors?
How many visitors? So in a normal year, pre-2020, we were seeing close to 75,000 guests a year. In today's current world, where everyone has to be a little more careful, there's not as much free spending money, we're still seeing over 45,000 guests a year. And I'm very proud of our marketing team for being able to reach out and try to expand our visitor base and become that national facility we know we are. People are just would take a little bit more to get through our doors, but you know, Eagles unite everybody. So we're very proud of our visitorship and especially our members and being able to do programs like this. All of our funding goes directly to the care of our ambassadors. We have the name National Eagle Center, yet we are a private nonprofit. Every penny spent by our guests, program fees like this one, go directly to the care of our eagles. Our birds get the world-class care they deserve because of guests like yourselves and your generosity.
I've seen at the University of Minnesota, they have a raptor center and they let the birds out on like long leashes and they fly around. Do you do a similar thing?
So when you see those rehabilitation techniques like putting a bird on what's called a creance line, that is to help those rehab patients get physically fit back to flying again. All of our ambassadors have gone through rehab, failed to be releasable because of their permanent injuries, and then sought human care like at the National Eagle Center. The Raptor Center is the nation leaders in raptor care. And some of those rehabilitation techniques they use is reconditioning those flight muscles to get them back into the wild, or to see if a wing injury healed properly. By having that bird flap and be able to see if that wing healed properly, they can then make choices on how to better aid that bird in rehab. All of our ambassadors, sadly, easiest way to think about it, failed rehabilitation. Well, looks like Latch is done being out. He told Tiffany he was done being out, which is his choice. We go on our ambassadors time frame. Sometimes they like being out for a while, sometimes they don't. Looks like today Latch didn't have a lot of patience, which is fine. He is 9 years old, so we're still working on patience. patience is tough in humans, it's kind of tough in eagles as well. So, excellent question about the Raptor Center. They are an incredible facility, and I highly recommend if you have a chance, check them out. They are an open to the public facility as well, but I would recommend coming down to Wabasha and visiting the National Eagle Center. So that's all I have for today's program. I'm happy to stick around and answer more questions, but I'm going to hand things over to our main host, and he'll finish out the program.
Any other questions before one more question, Jared, if we could.
Of course.
Are any of the prey of eagles on endangered species?
Are any food sources of bald eagles on the endangered species list? Bald eagles are such an opportunistic predator, think deader the better, they want an easy food source, that across the country, there is a possibility that they may feed on an endangered species that might have got struck by a vehicle or died in some case like that. But since bald eagles are either fish eaters or scavengers, we humans make a lot of roadkill. There's always a food source for them around. But habitat destruction is a major concern for bald eagles as
Okay, whoa.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hopefully he's coming back. Jared, are you coming back? It says someone's talking.
I don't understand this technology and I can't hear it. I mean, my
Okay.
ear.
Okay.
Brain just don't.
Can you see the eagles in the tree there? Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Well, I don't know, maybe we've lost Jared. Anyway, Jared, if you can hear us, thank you so much for your time and your knowledge and your dedication. And I hope that we'll get a chance to, I hope to get a chance to go down there and visit, and I hope you guys might do something similar. Our next Sunday forum that we have this summer will be July 15th. Okay, so just remember, we don't do it every Sunday anymore. And because the worship schedule is now changed to 10 o'clock, so Sunday forum schedule is now moved up to 9 o'clock. So 9 o'clock, July 15th will be our next Sunday forum. Watch for announcements in the Friday e-blast to find out what it will be about.
Do you
Okay.
know if there will be any in the gallery?
There may be other meetings in yeah, some of those gallery meetings might be occurring over the summer.
For that,
Not Sunday forum,
no.
but the gallery meetings generally weren't Sunday forum anyway. Sunday forum's usually here. So those gallery meetings are just other groups in the church,
Yeah.
like the deacons, like Racial Justice. And there will probably be more of those this summer, but I have no idea what the schedule will be.
Yeah, that's okay.
That. Okay, so thank you very much for coming. Yep. Thank you again, Jared, in case you're still with us.
And thank you for your question about the rat, because I was wondering, what do they do in captivity, but I didn't want to ask the question because they probably don't do much. And so you're bringing up the raptor center was a good way of finding out the different ways they live.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about, so the people is wounded anywhere in the United States that they brought here, or are there other centers to help them?
I thought, but it's. Well,